Well, Broncos country, Maha Salute, man. Hope you guys all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Enjoyed it with some family and some friends, man. And we are right back at it, man. Hopefully, you guys may be getting some Black Friday shopping in. But what I decided to do spending this Black Friday was really just going over some all 22 film, going over some of the PFF grades, and really trying to get a full kind of holistic, 30,000 foot view of this Broncos team as we head into the most important stretch of the season. So let's get into it. If it's the first time on the channel, guys, if you love the Denver Broncos, if you like the Nuggets, if you like the Colorado Avalanche, hit that subscribe button below. It'll really help me out. I'm on a mission to get to 500 subscribers. But aside from that, we're going to have a great time together, man. I love the new community that we're building, and I would love to have anybody that wants to be on the channel on at any time. So feel free to reach out. All right. So let's get into it, guys. Before we pull up the PFF grades, I just want to talk about this being such a weird week. I feel like it's been forever since we played a Monday Night Football game. And then we're going into the bye afterwards. But it looks like the Broncos so far on the practice this week, not really anything to be concerned of about other than Riley Moss. It looks like Zach Allen, he was full the first 2 days of participation, so he should be good to go this week against the Cleveland Browns. Bo Nix was limited yesterday with a back, but just some soreness. He was full today. And then Riley Moss is still yet to practice. I am definitely of the mindset of, keep him out this week. Let him get the bye week next week as well. And we will look to get him back for the final 5 games once we return back from the bye and hopefully, get everybody healthy. But overall, knock on wood, a really, really healthy team so far. But let's dive into this a little bit, guys. Let's look into some of the Broncos PFF stuff that we have going on. And it's pretty crazy because when you look at a lot of the PFF grades, you'll see that it really does go hand in hand with, I think, a lot of the performance that the film does show. There obviously is some things about PFF that I'm not the biggest fan of, but I really do love the way that they have very specific breakdowns, certain kinds of statistics and ways that you're looking at seeing them play, and how they grade players. And what really sticks out to me, right off of the bat, man, is just how incredibly solid the defense is overall, as a whole. They don't have Zach Allen listed on this for whatever reason. Let me go back here and kind of pull that up. So when you're looking at Zach Allen's numbers down there, he's, rated overall at a 60.4 when it comes to PFF, which is crazy weird to me. I don't know if it's because he takes a lot of double teams, but the guy's an absolute baller. So when you add him into here, along with the way that Franklin Myers has been playing, Malcolm Roach and DJ Jones, I think have been very, very solid players. Great rotational player for Malcolm Roach. I love the kind of um, energy that he brings every single week. But our secondary is phenomenal. Brandon Jones, definitely been one of the most underrated players in the NFL. Certainly the most underrated player on our defense. He's been balling. PJ Locke is kind of PJ Locke at this point, right? I like his game a lot, but he does a lot of really dumb things, and he does get beat here and there as well. But overall, he's a really solid player, and I'll take the bad stuff because I think it involves a lot more good stuff from the safety position. Barton and Sternad have been unbelievably great surprises for us. You talk about upgrading. When you look at this front office in general and all the moves that they made, they've upgraded in every single position where we've added a guy. We lost Josie Jewell. Everybody's like, how are we going to replace him? We get Cody Barton. Cody Barton's been better, right? Alex Singleton goes down. Sternad steps right in as if nothing happens. You know what I mean? And then you end up losing. I'm totally drawing a blank. You end up losing. Oh my gosh, Justin Simmons. Sorry, that was crazy. Justin Simmons last year. You get Brandon Jones, upgrade, right? And then you develop Riley Moss, and he's ends up being a baller. Obviously, Pat Surtain, we know who he is, and we'll talk about him a lot on the preview show that I'll probably have either tomorrow or maybe even on Sunday, previewing the Monday night game against the Browns. And on the O line, on the offensive side of the ball, specifically the O line, man, you talk about Miners, McGlinchey, and Bowles, just elite level of playing. I got to give Mike McGlinchey his flowers, right? Because yes, he still has some of those frustrating like pre-snap penalties, but my goodness, has he been so much better in terms of his pass pro. I thought he handled Max Crosby super well last week. I think he's played really, really well from a pass protection standpoint. I think he's even taken another step forward in terms of his run blocking ability. And then him next to Quinn Miners. Quinn Miners, in my opinion, being one of the best guards in football without a doubt about it. The right side of that line is looking really good. And quietly, Garrett Bowles is having a, in my opinion, I think a Pro Bowl level season. Somebody that has been just unbelievably solid. There was a PFF graphic that I had seen. It's like 8 games in a row or 8 games this season without allowing a sack or a pressure. He's been incredibly solid. And the weak points of our O line so far have been Powers and Wattenberg, and the inside there. And it's been something that, like with Powers, you're a little bit more optimistic about in terms of he can kind of turn it around and start playing some good football. But Wattenberg's been a little bit inconsistent, at least for my level of comfort when it comes to him from center. But he's still a very young player, and I still think that there is some room for growth there. So we'll have to see. Um, Obviously we know the tight ends are a mess. Uh, so Troutman being ranked 44th out of 75 tight ends, not super surprising. Have no idea why this man, Lil Jordan Humphreys, is still on this team. Quite frankly, that might not be much longer as we're about to get Josh Reynolds back. But look at Vele and Sutton, man, just playing so well over here. And so I love that combination of receivers that we have so far. I really like what Sutton and Vele can bring, and obviously mixing in Mims with the other guys, with Troy Franklin as well, and then getting Josh Reynolds back, I think is going to be helpful. We know Bo, man. We made a lot of things about Bo Nix. Bo Nix is a stud, and Javonte Williams has been the highest rated halfback, I think, running back on the team overall. But it hasn't really been pretty when you talk about Jaleel and Estime and Javonte Williams. But I'll tell you this: it's very clear why Javonte Williams is on this team, and why, until they can find somebody that is capable of pass protecting the way that he is, he'll continue to get a lot of snaps. Because go back, guys, if you do me a favor, if you have the all 22, or maybe I'll put together a video tonight and I'll share it tomorrow as well, just about Javonte Williams in pass pro. Unbelievable job he does with picking up the blitz and allowing for um, not only for Bo Nix to have more time, but a lot of times deliver balls accurately, because he does such a good job of picking it up. So you do have to give him his flowers there, and you do have to understand why his role is the role that he has, specifically on this team. And it shows, estimates right now shows that he has a higher pass blocking rate, but he has significantly less. Javante's got a lot more, but he's a stud. He really is when it comes to pass protection overall. So, I think the PFF grades really, they very much go in line with the overall way I view this team. Um, Very solid in a lot of key areas. I think our O line overall is really good. Our receiver room, we've talked about. I like where it's headed, so I'm good with how it is for this season. Running back and tight end is going to be the two major weak spots that we have on this team, and it's going to be very important that we get as much production as we possibly can out of those two groups, because obviously you're not going to be able to make some crazy changes. And as long as you keep winning, there's no reason to. But just some things that I think we need to kind of put out there. Now, when you're looking at it again, I wanted to flip it. I wanted to show a little bit of the PFF grades for the Cleveland Browns overall. And I like to do the lineups one because it shows the players on the team that are getting the most snaps. Doesn't necessarily mean that everyone on here is going to be healthy and playing in the game. I think they had a couple guys that were injured. But let me tell you guys something in terms of where it is that we can really ball out against this team, okay? Because they are, even though they're 3-8, they're extremely talented, especially on the defensive side of the ball. They've got a lot of phenomenal players. The fact that the NFL gave us Max Crosby and Myles Garrett in back-to-back weeks, and then 2 weeks prior to that, they gave us Chris Jones. It's crazy. It's been a really good test for the team. I think that they've handled both of those guys very, very well. But we are going to definitely have to have a huge, very significant plan for Myles Garrett and for our boy Shelby Harris, man. That'll always be much love to Shelby there in the middle. But they don't have the best, aside from Myles Garrett, they don't really have a lot of guys that terrify you on that line overall. And they do struggle to get pressure with other guys outside of Myles Garrett, for sure. They have some pretty damn good players playing linebacker, and they've got a very, very good corner in Denzel Ward. I think one of the better corners in the NFL. But the other side, I think it's Martin Emerson. I think is his name. He's been struggling since he's been a pro. I think he's in his second year. He is going to be somebody that the offense needs to target a lot of, as much as they can. Try to get matchups that, whether it's Sutton or Bailey or somebody that can get open on him, because their game plan is probably going to be put Denzel Ward wherever Cortland Sutton is, which is totally understandable. And you're going to try to take advantage of going to the other side with Emerson because there is a lot of potential there. One thing to note, and we'll get into this more in the previews episode, in the tomorrow or Sunday, like I had said, is Bo Nix has proven to be very, very, very good against defenses that play a lot of zone. But he has shown that he struggles against defenses that play man. Now, I think there's a couple of reasons for that. One of them is because we don't really have the best skill position players that could consistently get open man on man. Um, and so that's one thing. But other thing too is that a lot of the times with rookie quarterbacks, it takes a little bit of time to get good at playing against man coverage, throwing your guy open, being able to read it. The Browns play a lot of man, a ton more man than zone. So you're going to be getting a lot of that. So there's definitely going to be challenges aside from just Myles Garrett trying to wreak havoc. There's some guys on this defense that can make a lot of plays overall, in my opinion. And one of the other guys that I wanted to highlight too, he's not showing up on the lineups for whatever reason, but is the Jeremiah Awosu Karamoa, the linebacker there. One of the more elite players in the NFL. He's a phenomenal linebacker. He is on IR, so I didn't really check the status overall with him. I don't know if it's like actually. Probably should have looked at it before. If it's actually a full season ender, or if he's at some point going to be ready to come back. If so, will he be ready for this game? I hope not, because he's a damn good player when he's out there on the field overall. And on the offensive side of the ball, when you look at them on the PFF grade here in the lineup, you'll see that they used to have what I believed was one of the better offensive lines in football, and they've gotten a little bit of a hit recently with some injuries. And they just had guys like Pochich, the center, who hasn't really had that good of a year, considering at one point he was, you know, a very, very good center. Same with Joel Bitonio. He's kind of struggled a little bit more, which has been surprising. And Wyatt Teller. All three of those guys, that they used to make up probably the best interior offensive line, and they are struggling a little bit this year. But that doesn't mean that they can't be very, very good against you. If Jermaine Ifedi is going to be the left tackle this week, he's somebody that I think Nick Bonito and Jonathan Cooper are going to be able to absolutely eat. So watch out for that. I usually do the preview videos on Saturday or like the day before. In this case, it'll be Sunday, because I like to see what the final injury report shows, because then it'll give you a little bit of a better picture of who's playing. Otherwise, on the offensive side of the ball, from a skill set standpoint, obviously Nick Chubb is still Nick Chubb. You're going to have to make sure that you do what you can in terms of stopping the run game, because I want it to be one of those games where Jameis Winston has to beat you. Now, I've always joked, and I really kind of mean it when I say it. Jameis Winston is probably the best quarterback in the NFL and the worst quarterback in the NFL all at the same time. And so that's why I've always really enjoyed watching him. But if you could force him to beat you, he's definitely going to have some plays. He's definitely going to make plays against you, but he's going to give the ball up a lot. And he's going to give your defense many opportunities for you to get the ball as well. And so I would say I like the way that we could bracket Njoku. I think we've been playing really well against tight ends lately. You put PS2 on Judy, and it forces, Elijah Moore and Tillman to be the guys that beat you. I don't think we'll have Riley Moss, but I'm comfortable with Damari Mathis. I'm comfortable with Jaquan McMillan going up against Elijah Moore, and I'm comfortable with Damari Mathis, if called upon, too, in the role to be able to stop the other guys. And that way we could just pin our ears back and go after Jameis as much as we possibly can, and hopefully we can get some turnovers. But overall, this is going to be a very tough, scrappy style of game. Anytime you're playing an AFC North opponent, it seems to be that way. We are 0-2 so far in the AFC North, and they're all kind of built from the same cloth, right? They just scrap you away. They try to wear you down, and they try to give themselves an opportunity to win in the fourth. This is a team that I wish had Deshaun Watson still because they're much worse with him playing quarterback than without him. And they are coming off it's going to be about 11 days rest since they played last Thursday. So they'll be a little bit rested as well coming into the Mile High City. But if the Broncos want to be the team that we expect for them to be, they need to continue rolling and they need to win games like this. And I really hope that they can do it in a fashion that we haven't really seen this year. And so I think it's going to be really close. Like I said, you'll hear my predictions and the breakdown in the next video. But just want to know overall what you guys think. Where do you feel like some of the weaknesses of this Browns team are, and where can we capitalize? And what do we definitely need to make sure that we're paying attention to so that we don't end up dropping a game at home before the bye week? Um, Let me know. I want to know what you guys think below. Anything else y'all want to see on PFF grade wise? Let me know as well. I know it's a paid subscription. I have it, so always happy to share it with you guys on future videos. Otherwise, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, man. Enjoy your Friday night. Spend time with those you love the most. And until the next time, everybody, go Broncos.